In Bint Jbeil's tunnels, it's not soldiers leading the charge, it's machines. This is the first robotics war, Israel says, as autonomous systems hunt Hezbollah underground. Less exposure, more precision, a battlefield run by code. But as robots take point and humans step back, who really controls how this war unfolds? Israel's military is expanding its use of robotic systems in combat operations against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, signaling a deeper shift toward automation on the battlefield. According to the Israeli Defense Forces, robots are now being deployed in Bint Jbeil to accelerate the destruction of Hezbollah's weapons infrastructure, particularly in hard-to-reach tunnel networks. Images captured by robotic systems placed by Yahalom combat engineers inside tunnels and fortified zones have enabled faster targeting of what the IDF describes as long-term Hezbollah military assets. This latest deployment builds on lessons from previous conflicts, where Israel increasingly integrated robotics and artificial intelligence into frontline operations. Speaking in December 2025, a senior defense official described the transformation in stark terms.
This is the first robotics war. In this conflict, we have mobilized our entire defense ecosystem and deployed tens of thousands of autonomous systems across the battlefield, from drone swarms to agile ground robotics distributed across vast areas.
Robotic systems were used extensively during the Gaza conflict to explore tunnels, conduct reconnaissance, and engage hostile positions, reducing direct exposure for soldiers. Beyond surveillance, remotely operated vehicles have been used to trigger ambushes, map enemy positions, and support ground troops entering contested zones. Israeli defense officials say the push toward robotics is accelerating, driven by operational necessity and rapid technological innovation.
The AI and autonomy PEO, working in coordination with the IDF, has accelerated innovative developments from startups, defense contractors, and research institutions, with the goal of integrating them into the operational theater and maintaining our relative advantage on land, in the air, and at sea.
He described the current phase as the early stage of a broader transformation in warfare.
We are only at the beginning of this revolution. In the coming years, driven by operational necessity, we will significantly expand our robotic capabilities. Robotics serves as a critical bridge to the world of AI, which, looking forward, will be integrated into every weapon system and into the operational capability of every soldier.
The Defense Ministry has also highlighted the use of robotics in production lines, particularly in scaling up air defense systems like the Arrow interceptors. As Israel expands robotic warfare from Gaza to Lebanon, the battlefield is rapidly evolving, where machines are no longer just support tools, but central actors shaping the pace, precision, and risk of modern combat. 4 Israeli tanks were destroyed in southern Lebanon on April 19th after a Hezbollah ambush using pre-planted explosive devices, dealing one of the most significant single-day blows to Israeli armor since a ceasefire was declared in the region. According to a Hezbollah statement, an 8-vehicle Israeli armored convoy was moving from the town of Tebeh toward the old Al-Salah outpost near Deir Serian.
The explosion involved multiple explosive charges detonated in 2 successive waves between 3:40 p.m. and 4:40 p.m. local time on April 19th. The blasts resulted in the destruction of 4 Merkava tanks, which were seen engulfed in flames following the explosions. Israeli forces moved to recover the damaged vehicles around 6 p.m.
The attack came days into a ceasefire that Israel's own military has acknowledged it continues to operate through, citing what it calls an advanced defense zone, extending 8 to 10 kilometers inside Lebanese territory. Hezbollah has said the truce cannot be one-sided. The Tebeh ambush was not an isolated incident. On April 19th, an Israeli soldier serving in the 769th Hiram Regional Brigade was killed, and 9 others were wounded when an engineering vehicle was struck by an IED. A day earlier, a reservist warrant officer was killed and 3 soldiers wounded in a similar explosion in the village of Jbeil, where troops were scanning a building for weapons when the device detonated. Israeli media reported a total of 37 soldiers killed or injured between April 19th and April 20th. Israeli newspaper Ma'ariv, reporting on the pattern, drew a direct comparison to some of the darkest chapters of Israel's military history in Lebanon.
The danger posed by roadside bombs in southern Lebanon has resurfaced, becoming a recurring nightmare for Israeli defense forces.
The paper noted that Lebanon's terrain and dense vegetation give Hezbollah a significant tactical advantage, and that the explosive devices being used are extremely difficult to detect and neutralize. Ma'ariv likened the current situation to the debacles Israeli forces experienced in Lebanon during the 1980s and 1990s. Despite Israel's military ravaging campaign that has killed some of Hezbollah's most senior commanders and degraded much of its arsenal, the group is still standing. And the reason, according to a Western intelligence report, is simple. The money has not stopped flowing. Analysts estimate Hezbollah currently needs around $50 million every single month. That covers salaries, weapons, and crucially welfare payments to the families of fighters who have been killed or wounded. It is that last part that keeps recruitment alive and loyalty intact. Since 2025 alone, the group is believed to have received close to $1 billion from Iran. The intelligence report is blunt about where that money originates.
Most of the Iranian budget stems from revenues of the Iranian state and security forces derived from oil sales primarily to China, and is transferred back through shadow banking mechanisms designed to circumvent sanctions.
In plain terms, Iranian oil goes to China. The money circles back through front companies in Hong Kong, the UAE, and Turkey, and then Lebanese businessmen move it the rest of the way to Hezbollah. The report names several individuals at the heart of this operation. One of the principal figures is a man identified only as Hassan K., who runs gold companies in Lebanon and Dubai. According to intelligence analysts, he has transferred hundreds of millions of dollars to Hezbollah through a Turkish exchange house, using a combination of air couriers and overland routes through Syria. That is notable because Syria's new authorities have been cracking down on Hezbollah activity since the fall of the Assad regime in December 2024. Yet parts of this pipeline, the report suggests, still run through the country, with a Syrian company and even the Syrian central bank reportedly facilitating transfers. Then there is Mohammed Noureddin, who heads an exchange house called Trade Point International. The US Treasury designated him back in 2016 for supporting Hezbollah. That same year, France arrested him on money laundering charges. He was released and returned to Lebanon. According to the analysts, he is still at it, now working alongside a Syrian exchange house called Al-Ansaf. A separate Western intelligence source told Euractiv that inside Iran, the most important financial operator is Abdallah Saifuddin, the brother of Hashem Saifuddin, Hezbollah's former number 2, who was killed in 2024. Abdallah oversees funding streams that stretch from Chinese state banking relationships all the way to drug trafficking revenues in South America, the United States, and Europe. What makes this particularly striking is that despite his role, Euractiv has learned that Saifuddin has at times served as a point of contact for European diplomats. In 2016, he met with Michael Claw Berchtold, then Germany's ambassador to Iran, and maintained regular contact with other EU representatives. At the center of Hezbollah's domestic financial structure is the Al-Qard Al-Hassan Association, a Hezbollah-run institution operating since 2007 and designated by the US Treasury that same year. It functions like a bank, pooling Iranian transfers with deposits from Shia communities in Lebanon and abroad, and then paying out salaries to Hezbollah's military wing while financing arms procurement. The intelligence report does not mince words about what this means for Lebanon.
The mere fact that AQAH continues to function gravely damages the Lebanese state and its reputation. It prevents the country's financial system from rehabilitating itself and from building a viable and effective framework.
The institution is now one of the central obstacles to Lebanon being removed from the Financial Action Task Force's grey list, which in turn is blocking billions in post-war reconstruction funding. And yet, the Lebanese government has so far declined to shut it down, stopping short even of declaring it an unauthorized entity. Turkey and the UAE have recently begun tightening scrutiny of financial transfers linked to Lebanon, and UAE authorities have arrested a network of gold and cash smugglers, allegedly working on Hezbollah's behalf. But the network, as this report makes clear, keeps finding new paths. The money for now keeps moving.